Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever you are on this planet of ours, live from the rugged east coast of Canada and also the very flat west coast of Canada.
Well, middle piece of Canada.
Middle bit of Canada.
Because the west coast of
Welcome
Canada is
to
the
Toast.
opposite of flat. Yeah.
Welcome to Toast AM. I am Paul, and join me as always is my friend Dave.
Hello, internet. Good
How are
to
you
be
doing,
here.
Dave?
I'm really good, Paul. I'm really good. We had a really good Thanksgiving. It was the holiday here last weekend in Canada where we live. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and I had a fantastic visit with my family. It was wonderful. Yep.
And as I like to call it, Canadian Thanksgiving.
Canadian Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Or potentially Canadian, or not Thanksgiving Junior, really, until you've lived in America and celebrated American Thanksgiving.
Yes.
What we do is very much a
It is not anything
reflection, as it were.
Yeah.
But lovely nonetheless. If your family's from Canada, that's the kind of
It's Christmas. Like our Christmas is kind of like American Thanksgiving. I feel like that's always the impression where it's like
I would feel that's accurate, but without football.
Yes, but it's you have to get home for Christmas and spend it with your family, and
yes. Whereas in
America, it's a multi-day affair.
Forget the Christmas thing.
Yeah, and we use Boxing Day, of course, kind of analogous to Black Friday and the sales and the.
I suppose
a little bit used to be. It's not so much anymore, but it used to be like the big shopping.
Yeah, not as many people die.
No, but
trying to get a big screen TV.
It's because we're lazy up here.
Fair enough.
This was full before we even started, Paul. Okay. Yes. Anyway,
I'm going to just start off with a couple of thank you to the super chats. Thank you to Timothy.
Oh my goodness, Timothy, you're too good to us.
For he had nothing to say, but he wanted to let us know that he appreciates. Maybe he doesn't appreciate it.
So,
maybe he hates it.
I'm just going to throw this out, even though this wasn't the super chatted comment. Timothy Harmon did actually post a comment, and since he paid, I feel like we should read it out.
Are you talking about this one? Because he did pay for this one.
Well, okay. I meant there was one after at 9:03.
Well, that's your time, your baby time.
Oh, I guess. Right. I don't know. That's the one. Yeah.
Paul, before we get in too deep, we should say out loud what's on everyone's mind. Dave is funny, smart, a cheap date, and has a fabulous beard. Let's all try to be more like Dave. Cheers to you, Timothy. You are getting my first. That is worth a cheers. Yep. This is my. As always, I start off the evening with my special Vice Rhino rum.
Not sure about the cheap date part of it, but
All right. So, this is the show where we talk about previous episodes of Coast to Coast AM, the old radio show, still on today, beloved by many. Dave and I are particular fans of the Art Bell era of the show. And so that's what we cover here. Last week we were covering the episode where it was covering Jesus Stargates. And let me just see if I can look up the guest here. So it was William Henry.
Yep, William Henry.
And William, PhD in something. I forget.
Yeah, it's like mythology or folklore or something like that, isn't it?
He regaled us with his ideas about how Jesus, we were going to get to it eventually, how Jesus used stargates to achieve that would explain some of the religions that we see in the world today. So we were up for that. What
you did spell bruschetta correctly, Shannon, by the way.
So William Henry, it ended up being a little more than we had bargained for. We thought we were getting into Stargate merely, but William included
He was painting a rich tapestry.
For his notions to be correct,
yeah.
Every religion that ever has been is also correct. And nearly every conspiracy you've ever heard of also
Roger,
correct.
Thank you.
Ooh, Roger, thank you for the super chat. Hello, guys. CT Coast to Coast AM and Art Bell. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. I go so far as to say hell yes.
Hell yes.
But I've always had a bit of a rebellious streak.
And for you got to keep it short on the super chat because they only give you so many characters. So
is that I'm shockingly ignorant about how.
Yeah. So the more the tip is, the bigger the tip, the more characters you get with which
really
message. Yes.
Huh. Those diabolical.
So apparently I had to leave a lovely gathering to make it to work on time.
Yeah. We appreciate you coming to be here with us, Paul.
So, I'm missing bruschetta or something. Anyway, as we were saying,
just feast your eyes.
Oh man. Now we got another one from
wow.
From KD 5681. Thanks for the streams. You're welcome, KD. Appreciate you.
You want to do something pretty incredible during the week to have supporters like this backing you just out of the blue.
This last week, because it was Thanksgiving and I was with family, I did literally nothing. So
maybe that's it. You've started.
Maybe that's the key, just to do nothing.
How can we miss you if you don't go away? No?
So do we have time, Dave? Can we get into because of the mind-blowing array of topics that was covered last week?
Yes.
We thought a fun thing. You thought of a fun thing to
brainstorm.
So you and I are in competition tonight.
Yes. Paul and I are playing a game, and the people at home can play with us.
All right. So do you want me to add one of ours to?
Yes. Tonight, Paul and I will be playing Art Bell Bingo. We have made bingo cards with a variety of different random topics that can come up on the Coast to Coast AM show. And, as they get mentioned, you get to tick them off. As bingo goes, if you don't know how bingo works, I'm not going to explain it to you. So Paul and I have different cards. They're randomly generated. The middle is just a free string. You get to tick it off if you have a drink. And I'm going to go ahead and post a link in the chat because some of you fine folks can play along with us.
Are you able to post it? I don't remember.
I think so. Maybe.
I don't remember if you're a mod. All right.
Oh, no, apparently I can't. So I tell you what, I'm just going to, I will put it here and you can do it.
First of all, it's already in the description.
Yes.
But also now here's the link. Oh, I posted it in the wrong place because I'm a million years old.
Yeah. Paul and I are both very old men. Everybody just give us some time.
All right. So there's the link.
Yes. Oh, now apparently I can. Okay, well, whatever.
All right. So if you want to join us, the first 28 people.
We did miss a super chat, by the way, there too.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
But the first 28 people
who sign in. There is a limit. Unfortunately, this is just a quick test thing. So only 30 people can play today.
But you can compete with Dave and I for prizes and admiration.
Mm-hmm. Today's we have a wonderful prize. So currently only Paul and I are playing for the prize. I'll be honest. This is
okay. All right.
The prize itself on honesty, right, Paul?
But admiration, we'll go to.
This is a bit of a test run. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Okay. So this is Dave's card up on screen right now.
Yep.
And we will go through. We'll talk about this more as the stuff goes on.
Yeah.
I feel like we should get a little bit into the show before we get too deep into all this stuff. But here's for those keeping track. This is my card.
There you go. Yeah.
So and yes. And do we have other business? Oh, first we need to do the super chat.
We do show super chat.
So the super chat here.
What's the word on the Brocephus versus Shannon Q wrestling match? He says he's going to give you a whooping. He'll to beat you any day of the week. Well, I feel like we're talking. I don't know what wrestling's like where you're from, but where I come from, it's not a debate. But maybe this is a cultural thing. I don't know.
And it's Brocephus.
No, I said it right.
Who is a relative of a friend of mine, Godless Engineer. His relative Brocephus is a fundamental Christian who likes to. He's what we call one of them Christian nationalists. There, Dave.
Oh, is that one of them there?
And he likes God and country and guns and the Bible.
All right. Well,
so maybe he and Shannon are going to be. I was unaware that this was going to be happening, but
while It's just throw it out. My mom, I was talking to her this week after the holidays and some other stuff going on. That
I'm not going to wrestle your mom if that's what you're asking.
She asked about you. She asked how you were doing and what's new, and we had a chat. And then there was silence on the phone for about 20 seconds. And she said, "Don't ever come and tell me you don't believe in God anymore, because I don't know if I could handle that." And I said, "Okay, don't worry. I promise I'll never tell you that." We just moved on. Yep.
That's
She knows I haven't gone to church in like 8 years or whatever, and it's like she's just kind of let's just agree we're never going to talk about this. I'm like, okay, Mom.
Perfect. Well, that's according to Vishanti, I've already wrestled your mom. Well, we don't talk about that on stream anymore.
No.
Okay, Dave.
Again, I think they're confusing debating and wrestling. Again, I think you're doing it wrong.
We have
now
before we get to art, we have
we got a little paper, we got a little business we got to take care of as usual. Got to pay the bills, right? That's got a new sponsor for this week. I got this got to be friends. You know that the seasons are turning. And if you live in a northern hemisphere like Paul and myself, that means the days are getting short, the temperature is dropping, and before too long, the snow is going to fall. And we all know what the worst part of winter is: freezing wet legs. Every one of us knows the misery of having rain or so soak your legs, only to have wind freeze them to the bone. Well, suffer no longer. With new pants, you can cover your legs with stylish and comfortable tubes made of fabric. Available in a variety of different styles, colors, and patterns, pants don't just feel great, they look great too. Keep your legs warm, protect your thighs from scuffs and scratches, and lift and shape your buttocks into a pleasing peach shape. Sure to make you the talk of the town. Available now and online in stores near you. Pants.
Okay. Thank you to our sponsor, Pants.
Thanks,
As always, I learn about the sponsors online. So thank you to Pants.
And as
my understanding, the Pants,
as a little special extra incentive, Pants have agreed to sponsor our game tonight, Paul. Whichever one of us either gets a bingo first, or failing that gets the most things ticked off on their card as the tiebreaker, will get a free pants from Pants.
Okay. So
now, Pants, in full disclosure, it's last year's model, but it's free.
Last year's model, you can get a good deal on last year's model.
Mm-hmm.
So don't always fall for the latest thing.
Yeah,
it's not always. It's my understanding the newest pants aren't always compatible with last year's pants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I've got Android pants, so they tend to be pretty good. Yeah.
So it's my understanding also, pants, they took a bit of a hit during COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's why traditionally they don't really go in for sponsorships, but they're trying to come back. I was excited to go because I'm kind of getting sick of the constant cat calls as I walk down the streets. So
I will say it's odd. Like, as a full-time YouTuber, pants are not a big priority in my life.
You're really bearing the sponsor here, Paul.
But this is great. This is going to be my chance to get back into wearing pants on a regular basis.
Yep.
Thank you, Pants.
Absolutely.
Okay. So do we need to... You're going to keep an eye on your bingo card. I'm going to keep an eye on my bingo card. Hopefully, some of you... and I guess what we'd love to hear, if you get a bingo spot, what should we do? A hashtag in the chat? How should we do this? If someone gets a
announce it. Go if you get a bingo in
or just cover a square, right? I will
put out a $30 super chat and let us know.
That's right.
We'll announce it.
Yeah. But also,
and I will say I actually have all of the bingo cards, so don't.
Oh, okay. So Dave can know.
We'll know.
Perfect. So don't do it now, but we last week we covered the first half of the episode, and just as a bit of a reminder, this episode was in June of 1999.
Yes,
at the height of the Y2K scare.
Yep.
So there's some of that layered in, and just roll with it. I don't think they need to know anything, right, Dave? Other than,
I mean, I was there and I had a really hard time following what was going on with this guy. It was all over the map. Yeah. And we hadn't really gotten into the meat of the matter.
We hadn't. So anyway, we're about to get into it. Goblecki tape, Sarahan tape. Your thoughts against the YEC. I don't actually know what that is.
Oh, mother trucker.
You know what it is?
No, I don't know. I'm looking at
you're looking at the next one?
Go Harp.
All right. Well, so Maynard saves. I promise that I'm going to look up when have had less pre-show rum.
Yeah.
Apologies,
Maynard saves.
I am going to reply.
What you're talking
leave
about.
that as a comment, and I promise I will reply and give you all my thoughts for the younger creationists out there. But we need to acknowledge Show Harp. If your beard is long enough, you have no need for pants.
Mine's not quite there yet.
You're not wrong. I feel like that's not wrong, but that's not good for our sponsor.
There's a lot of beard, but there's a lot more of me. So, not quite there yet.
I feel like that's a girth joke.
It's, length and girth. Paul, please.
All right. So let's get to I think we're gonna first hear art.
Well, first, cheers, Go Harp. I think that deserves a
cheers, Go Harp. That definitely, if anything, deserves a cheers. Thank you. With the good rum. One last. Man, we're not going to ever get to the show.
We're never going to get to this.
I can't believe bands are sponsoring this stream. Shaking my head, giving in to all the pants missionary pipeline. Don't you know all missionaries wear pants? And that is, again, look, pants, like anything, pants can be used for good, and pants can be used for evil.
I say, look at it this way, Samurai Apostate. Every dollar the missionaries are spending getting us to talk about pants is a dollar they are not spending, spreading their message in the Republic of Congo or wherever. So I call it a win and a win, plus free pants.
So, Dave, let me just put this out there. So if you get a call from colonialism to sponsor the show, let's have a talk about that.
Their pockets are fucking deep.
I know colonialism. They have all the money. I know. I understand.
Like,
I'm not saying
what side of the equation you were on. That worked out really well for some people. Yeah, just that'll leave it.
Saying hard no, but let's have a talk if colonialism wants to sponsor the show.
We might have to. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. Okay, we're good. We're good. Right. Let's not get ourselves.
Let's talk about this for a second. We live in a day and age now where there are all kinds of claimed messiahs and figures and cults and on and on and on. It's a really cynical time we live in. And anybody, any person, any being that would claim to be the King of Terror returning, how can you imagine that he would be regarded seriously in modern America today? How?
Yeah.
To review, if I remember correctly, Dave, King of Terror, our lovely guest here was using that synonymously with Jesus.
He was using that as like a euphemism for Jesus because he didn't want to. He seems loath to use the word Jesus.
He's loath to use because he found that the phrase King of Terror was more common in multiple mythologies.
Well, I believe it was Nostradamus too. Thank you.
Wait.
Yeah. Because wasn't King of Terror it was something Nostradamus referenced, and he wanted to tie Jesus into a Nostradamic prophecy. So
now I need the audience to help me make a call on our bingo game.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of stuff we could be.
No. Because you said,
I said
Nostradamus.
Yeah.
And I have that on my card here with unprompted. You said Nostradamus. Do I get that, audience? Do I get this to check mark off? When Dave says it, do I get to check it off?
Hey, Joe, good to see you.
Or does the guest have to say it?
Or somebody on the program.
Does someone on the program have to say it, or am I okay if Like, I obviously can't say angels and mark off angels.
I feel like if we start cracking the door to you and I saying things to check off bingo, that's a bad precedent to set going forward.
No, but you have, like, I can't say my own, but you unprompted said a thing on my card.
Well, let's let the viewers decide.
I trust Vishanti, and Vishanti says the guest has to say it. So fine. Yep. Okay.
It's a soldier for truth there.
So Nostradamus, I don't get to take Nostradamus. Fine. Okay.
It's a good question, Johnny Rapine, but the King of Terror is Jesus in this conversation. If you missed, it's very specifically Jesus. You'd think it'd be Satan, but
no, it's Jesus. And as I recall, his thinking was that he's like, have you read the book of Revelation?
Yeah. Well, he was pretty vague about why, but yes, I think that's something that that's one we brought up. That it's like, it's a description if you read the book of Revelation. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's my bingo card. We're going to get back to the,
it's none of us unbelievable. I mean, it is, talk about an against all odds kind of mission. And we'll just have to see. I mean, this is where, the possibility exists of using mass communication and so forth. But you especially look at what just happened with Clinton. I mean, imagine what would happen if you have this figure, the kind of media attention, media frenzy that would be hoisted upon this figure and so forth. It would be...
Oh, but how would we know that it was the real McCoy?
Well, that's something that each of us are going to have to decide. If we look at the book of Revelation, it's divided into 22 chapters. And that series of 22s appears in numerous times. I'm going to digress just for a moment. I'll get right back to it. The 22 appears, there's 22 human chromosomes. There's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet.
Do you have numerology on your card? I don't.
Oh, I don't.
Things. Yeah.
Hopefully someone has numerology. Yeah. What's a number? So I have this. What's a number station?
Oh, okay. So a number station they're real things. It's radio stations, sort of like ham radio, and it just reads out strings of numbers.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so like it's been in X-Files, it was on Fringe, there are different things. And the general prevailing wisdom, it's like a Cold War spy thing, right? Because it's like you can't stop the radio signal from going anywhere in worlds. And they go, but there's all kinds of conspiracy theories associated with them. Yeah.
I got excited because I have also a revelation unique to the guest, and I just saw a revelation there and got excited. But that's
it.
Apparently, the book of Revelation is available to all of us. So, soldier on. Oh yeah, but I think again, lest anyone knows, the author of the book of Revelation didn't divide the chapter markings. That was done 1,000 years later.
Yeah, the chapters and verses weren't put in the original.
2 cards, major cards in the Tarot deck, which means wheel.
Right.
That journey begins with the card 0, the Fool, ends at the Sphinx, card number 22. When you cut the Tarot deck in half, which is what you're supposed to do, you end up with 2 11s. Okay? You talked about the 11.
All right, I'm playing tarot, and I'm doubling down, Dave. I'm going to split them. I'm going to split the tarot. Hit me.
Oh, that's my favorite. My favorite thing of like numerology or the Bible code or any of those things, right? Where it's like if I divide this by 4, it's this number. I mean, yes, but what does that have to? Yeah.
Now there's 4 seasons, so it makes sense that you'd want to do that. All right.
11 doorway.
Yep.
Now, let's apply the 11 to the Hebrew alphabet. The 11th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is K. So now we have 2 Ks. I believe that the story, this arrival of the King of Terror, is the fork in the road. It's the Y of the 2K of the book of Revelation.
Y2K.
Some of us will go left, some of us will go right.
Back we go now to William Henry. William, there are many...
So those, if anyone, I've explained this before, but Art Bell's show, because they were an AM show, they could just play whatever copyrighted music they wanted. So I go through and I cut out the music. So you heard a little bit of what we heard there was just an ad break. So anyway, Y2K, back to William.
who have referred to America as being New Jerusalem. Am I right?
Yes.
And so in New Jerusalem will come the King of Terror, and the King of Terror will likely return in July.
1999, correct.
Yeah. If I'm in Chicago, and I'm
As I recall, he did not. Do you remember it the same way?
I mean, that was 23 years ago, so there's a chance I misremember, but I don't know. I don't remember. And I was still going to church at that point, so I think, someone would have mentioned it had he.
Jar Jar arrived in May of 1999.
That's true. And that starts with a J.
I don't think he was the King of Terror.
Well, some would disagree.
I think reasonable people can disagree on this point. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that Jar Jar is a Sith?
Oh yes, many
Yeah.
times. Yeah. There was also I don't think I sent to you. There's a great Jar Jar in a jar meme this week. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough of that.
commodities broker. Just giving you an example, okay? In July, will I still go to work, and after the King of Terror comes back, will I still go to work and trade my commodities every day? If I'm in New York on Wall Street, will I still go and make my trades on the stock market? If I'm in Nevada doing a talk show, will I still be doing a talk show?
I think life will go on, yeah. I mean, even, if you look back at the time of Jesus, life went on. Life will continue to go on. I think that, getting back to Y2K, that it's going to help to slow down our civilization. I think that that's one of the uses of this crisis, is to awaken us that we're off our path.
But in your literature here, you call the role Y2K plays a scam.
Yeah, I call it a scam because I believe it's the setup would probably be the better word.
Setup.
I think that Y2K is an organized crisis that people have had awareness of for a while. They know that...
well, I've had awareness of it for a long while, but quite reasonably long.
Right, like Y2K paid for my first house.
Yeah.
I was aware.
As much as we're kind of joking here, it was
I was a software developer. Yeah,
it was a legitimate problem. It was a real thing that caused real issues in the world. That had a lot of money went into fixing it. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
it wasn't planes falling out of the sky, but there were real problems that came out of it.
It didn't just come up out of the blue. Anyway.
No, and it was something like it was one of those things where like people knew about it for like 20 years. And just like, this is going to be a problem. It's going to be really expensive to fix, but nobody wanted to pay the money or go until it was as human.
Especially as I worked with government related stuff. Like I said, my 2 terms will be done by the time this happens. So.
Exactly.
Not as long as Gary North, but longer than the American media. And when the calendar clicked and January 1st, 1999 became reality, it's like somebody clicked a switch, William.
Can you believe it?
And everywhere, suddenly, the general public, the great unwashed, now have become aware of this terror called Y2K, and it just hit the mainstream media like somebody threw a switch. I've never seen anything. Well, I have seen some things like it in the past, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, you have. Yep.
Can you explain that?
It's just simple preparation programming kind of thing. I mean, here in Nashville, my local news coverage covered it sort of like a tornado just went through town, and got it up to such a fever pitch. I mean, you couldn't believe how people were responding to this news. I mean, I remember distinctly the first night that I heard it when Gary North was on your program, and the terror that came with that. But at the same time, it brought enlightenment as well.
Wait, this guy who wrote several books on how all this comes together, first heard of Y2K on Art Bell's show?
Yep.
Okay.
To be fair, you could have heard of Art Bell started in the early 90s, so this could have been,
I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Space Lord. All right.
And that's the duality of this event and of these times. that old belief systems, old social, old political, old economic structures are getting ready to collapse, and a new world is beginning to emerge, and it's just on the fringes of our awareness now.
Well, now, wait a minute. That seems a long way from a scam.
Well,
in other words, you are describing an event consistent with what Gary North describes as possible in the worst-case scenario. That's what you're describing.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I probably shouldn't have, scam is probably too strong a word. Let's call it second-class Armageddon maneuver, because...
Second-class Armageddon maneuver.
Yeah, it's just a way to...
That's a good band name, though.
It's not a good band name. It's a good, like, high school band name. Or, like, your prog rock college band that
yeah.
You take super seriously, but no
Second-class Armageddon maneuver.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Use the imagination and get people into a fear kind of place. And if people are in fear, they're not looking necessarily to the higher spiritual solutions which may be emerging from this scenario. May I give you my take on why...
Paul.
Wait.
I'm very interested in what's going to happen.
Did we as a society overlook the spiritual solutions to Y2K?
I mean, I feel like I need them. Here's the thing. I would really love for him to explain what that means. Mm-hmm. And I already know he's not going to.
Oh,
he is just going to throw that out there.
So here's the thing. Memory was sparse. We could only allocate 2 characters to the year. Spiritual solution. We need...
Yeah. This guy is the absolute king of just dropping...
2K mythology.
Sure.
Several people have compared it to the story of the Titanic, that the ship that was going too fast in the middle of the night that struck.
Oh, Titanic's got to be on somebody's card. If you got a bingo card,
I'm actually keeping a list now of things that should be added to the card.
Yeah.
Tarot absolutely needs to be. I can't believe I didn't put it on the first one. Titanic.
Struck an iceberg and sunk.
Right there.
Titanic derives its name from the Titan.
First-class Armageddon maneuvers. Put those sons of bitches right out of business. Sorry.
The fourth class.
It made me laugh.
The fourth class maneuvers, they had to stay at the bottom where there was like...
It's like in the phone. Remember the old phone books? We used to have like 4A towing and like 5A.
Yeah.
Titans were led by a figure named Atlas, for whom Atlantis was named. I think Y2K is our new Atlantean moment. When you read the Edgar Cayce material, other materials, you find out that Atlantis was a civilization that grew over-dependent on its technology that was based on crystals, similar to our computer technology today. Mm-hmm. They also botched their...
So there's, right there, things that people could possibly have on their cards is Atlantis, stating wild conjecture as established fact.
Wait, I have that.
Do you have that one? I also have that one. I don't have Atlantis.
Are we counting this as a... Are we counting... That was stating wild conjectures established fact?
I absolutely think he said a couple things that could fall in that. That one's an easy one today. You could possibly tick off bad science used as evidence, because he's definitely throwing out some things where it's like, no, that's not how that works at all. And just, but
you've been checking some off on your own without announcing them. Look at you.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, we need to announce our bingo hits.
Okay,
here.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, that's me. Yeah, well, I'll start checking them off as I go.
You've already got Bible code.
You're Y2K. I have Y2K on my card, Bible. So I mean Y2Ks. They won't shut up about it. So that one's.
I feel like you cheated on this one. All right.
The bad science uses evidence. I don't know. That one is kind of.
No. I just feel I like your card. You got some pretty good ones on there.
I promise it was random.
I know it was random, but you got God. You got the flood. Oh, I don't even have Egypt. Anyway, we'll figure this out.
Jesus is one of the things that neither of us have Jesus, which is too bad. Yeah, I got a better card than you do, I think.
All right. Well, Papa needs some pants.
Yeah.
Genetics, according to Sitchin and other researchers. We haven't quite botched our genetics yet, although we probably are on the verge of doing so.
We're working on it.
So we're right where the civilization of Atlantis was presumably 10,000 years ago by most estimates, Graham Hancock, Edgar Casey, and so forth.
Yep.
This is our new...
I love this guy so much, Paul. I love this man. We're right where Atlantis was 10,000 years ago, presumably. Wait, what? What was that last word? Nothing. Anyways, here's where city is in India.
I remember
where they invented cake.
I remember why I paused it last time before we got the bingo. He said it's based on crystals, just like our computers are now.
I mean, I guess silicon is kind
In what sense were computers in 1999 based on crystals?
Or now, or in the 60s? What computers are your? I mean, oh
my goodness! All right,
now I remember why it took us 3 hours to get through. 27 minutes of.
And that's why we thought bingo would be fun with this guy.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, all of this is leading. The original question
we've yet to get into
is how did Jesus move around so quickly?
Yeah. There was something about a 40-foot high gold pillar, which he never explained.
We still haven't got there. So coming up. All right.
Moment, and this is a time when we're either going to get the story right or we're going to sink again. And right now we're sinking. I believe we've already hit the iceberg of Y2K, and we're parked just beyond it and sinking. Now, the solution that I propose comes from a group of sixth graders. A teacher was wise enough to take his sixth grade class to see the movie Titanic with the idea of solving the problem. And do you know how they solved it?
No.
Turn the ship around, tie it to the iceberg until help can get there. Now,
why the hell didn't they think of that? As my understanding of what they actually did was to...
Why the hell haven't the thousands and thousands of people who've died over the years at sea after... Yeah. Oh, well, just tie it to the iceberg. Oh, fuck. I wish we thought of that.
Did they have enough rope for this?
There's so many reasons it wouldn't work. Anyways, yeah.
Actually start the engines and begin moving, which was the worst possible thing you could do, because that forced water into the hole that had been created, the long gash hole that had been created in the ship when it struck the iceberg.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you're telling me a sixth grade class...
Sixth graders came up with this. Turn the boat around, tie it to the iceberg, throw everything in the water that floats, and sit on that, and create a semicircle between the ship and the iceberg. I believe we've got to use the too late solution for the people on Titanic and apply it to our current situation. Y2K is just the tip of our iceberg, of our rotting spirituality, politics, and so forth.
Oof.
What if
Y2K is a sense of rotting spirituality? If people were more attuned to their spiritual nature, they wouldn't design computers in a certain way.
Why didn't they just throw stuff out of the Titanic that floated and then ride on that?
we use the technology to massively communicate the nature of the situation, which is what we're doing now.
Yes.
And we know that there is black technology that could assist us in this situation. Tesla technology that's been covered up, that's back in Area 51 or other government labs.
Did you say
Tesla's not on the... I can't believe I don't have Tesla on the card. I'm an idiot, Kate. We gotta, make it up. Yeah, Tesla's gotta be added. Our friend Nikolai, who invented everything that's anything worthwhile,
including Atomic Robo's on my shelf somewhere.
Atomic Robo, one of the greatest comic books ever written.
Allegedly.
Uh-huh.
That's part of what we've got to do.
Well, we certainly know that when Tesla died, they went in and collected every scrap of information and carted it away to some government place somewhere.
This is all...
Okay, well, that was definitely... I guess we already got... That was definitely stating with conjecture something as if it was established fact.
I mean, does that count? I have government agency on my... It's not the Spirit. The Spirit is like you're supposed to be a reference of like a specific government agency.
Okay.
Like the NSA, the CIA, not just the government. I don't know, but well, I feel like that one's
All right.
Okay, is all about politics, economics, but ultimately it's about spirituality. Let's imagine that you're a Christ or an antichrist figure.
I cannot emphasize enough that Y2K was about computer bugs.
Paul, it's sad how limited and material your understanding of these events is. You're such a narrow view.
Want to put a monkey wrench in the wheel of human civilization. You emerge in 1956, you make one decision, you propose one idea, get rid of the 1 and the 9 on the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, just in case anyone was confused. So Tesla,
yes,
Nikola Tesla has nothing to do with the current car company. It's a car company, right? Or what's Tesla now?
So Elon Musk's electric car company.
So
Tesla.
if you don't know who Nikola Tesla is, like if you think that
this has something to do with electric cars, it does.
Yeah, no, then please go look that up because it's not the case.
He's the person who invented AC power and many of the technologies currently being used around the world in the electrical power grid. Yeah,
exactly.
He is a very important person, but
yeah.
What if someone says, well, that could cause a problem later? It's like, well, they'll solve it. I think it comes down to these moments
but
if you got a problem, he'll solve it.
Check out the hook while Tesla revolves it.
It was not proposed. Well, wait a minute. Maybe it was. In other words, if you listen to Gary North and others, the genesis of the Y2K thing was the original IBM Punch Cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you've ever seen one, I've held them in my hands. I remember them. They had very little. All digital information is made up of yeses and nos, and they simply punched holes for a yes or a no, and punched no hole for a yes or a no, and you came up with a series of yes or no's. But on a card, there are very few of them. Today we have Pentium processors that have billions of yeses and nos every second, and that's the progress we've made. But way back then, they didn't have enough yeses and nos, and so they only used 2 digits to indicate the year.
Right.
So I mean, that's a gross simplification, but he's roughly right that it.
He's describing it roughly correctly. And skeptical humanist. So Art Bell, didn't buy into everyone's stuff, but what he did for the sake of his show.
Yeah.
So it's the reverse of. So there's methodological naturalism in science where you assume that the assumption that the solution you're going to find is in the material world. It's just something we all agree to. Art Bell had some kind of methodological conspiracy theory thing where he was willing to, for the sake of his show, put forth. He wanted to give his guest the best, the steel man version of what they were trying to present. So he tried to help them to present it as most plausibly as he could make it and take them seriously as he could. Right? Would you say that's fair, Dave?
Yes. He was in many ways the ultimate straight man. He was always there he did everything he could to make the guest look as good as they could.
Right. So, but when the guest left,
yes,
then he was willing to crap all over them.
Yeah. And he wouldn't, I've never heard
that's not right. He was willing to, he didn't unveil his skepticism until the guest was off the call.
He would occasionally push back or question, kind of in this where the guy's like, spiritual, and Art's like, well, when computers first came out, like it was literally punch cards and like doing those extra 2 digits, and like when you were like a bit of memory was a significant expense. So anything you could do to save even a single bit of space was a big deal. And so knocking 2 digits off the date was a significant savings in computer. And in the 60s, that was so far away, nobody cared. It didn't matter. So they just did it.
Right.
It was just a systematic error that stayed in the system until it actually became Y2K. And, so he was trying to explain that. He's like, well, I don't know if this is really anything spiritual. This is just, how computers work. So he would do that. He would kind of be like, oh, I don't know. It's like, or what was the one we had before where it was like, everyone died in 3s and stuff. And Art's like, yeah, people can keep dying all the time.
That's right. Yeah.
Count every 3 of them. Then I guess people die in 3, but thousands of people die every day. So
yep.
What? does that even
Exactly.
mean, right? He would do that kind of sort of like, or it could just be, math. But yes, but he did. To answer your question, Art Bell does not believe all of this.
No.
Not
But
everything.
he
does
an
absolutely. Like
excellent.
Art Bell, there are things he does believe, things that would be considered, way out there. Or,
For sure.
He's a big UFO guy, big into a lot of government conspiracy and different things, but he does not believe everything that every guest throws out there. No.
Thank you, Skeptical Humanist, for taking time to answer my question. Thanks. You're welcome, Skeptical Humanist.
And also, Dream Theater is fantastic. So, but yes.
Cheers to you, Skeptical Humanist.
We will answer questions about art in the show, because we are here to celebrate the man and the show he created, because we genuinely enjoy it. We want people to get the same enjoyment out of it that we did.
That would seem the logical thing to do when you only had that much of a database, that much available memory, if you will.
Right.
So you're suggesting somebody came and intentionally suggested that,
let's say,
to set up what's about to happen.
Exactly. Because in the world of prophecy, these beings operate on massive timescales. Of course, 30 years, 40 years for them is nothing. In fact, FDR was operating off the prophecies of Nostradamus at the request of Winston Churchill. He knew that if he recovered...
That's a Nostradamus for me.
That's a definitely, yeah. There's no...
That's for me.
There can be no debate. Yeah.
So where do I got? There I got my Nostradamus right here. So I got one.
Yeah. See, there's a bunch of these that he brought up last. See, this is can we bring up stuff that he brought up last week?
No, it's got to be new this week.
It's got to be new.
New this week, because otherwise
the Dead Sea Scrolls he had last week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I definitely had
Egypt. There
were several ancient prophecies. Egypt we totally had last week.
I feel like wasn't crop circles? Didn't those come?
We had crop circles last week. So yeah, no,
man.
but it's got to be fresh and new. So
Harp, I think, came up. This is bull.
Oh, that's true. It did. Harp did totally.
Yeah, because I went into a long explanation of what harp was.
Yes, you did. All right.
Something in Mongolia pertaining to Jesus, it would not be used until July 1999.
Where are the records of FDR's doing this?
One of the excellent sources for that is John White's biography of Henry A. Wallace, simply called Henry A. Wallace, His Search for the New World Order. American Heritage did an expose on this in 1990.
So do we both have government agency on our cards?
Yes.
I think that counts as as soon as you got FDR, right? That's a government agency.
You're absolutely right, Michael. Someone pointed out I spelt circles wrong on the bingo card. Crop circles. Yeah. Whoops.
But you got are you marking off government agency?
I'm gonna government agency. I'm marking.
All right, we both had that one.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm fixing crop circles on my
on the
you
can't just be wasting characters on stray seeds.
Luckily these bingo cards aren't super chats, apparently. I don't have to. Yeah.
You can go to your library and look that up.
Okay.
And these are all documented in my book, One Foot in Atlantis, The Secret Occult History of World War II. It's an amazing story, and I had no idea that this device that I've been describing was actually what they were going after until after I finished the book. I had been researching it independently without really realizing that
was that your
no, I don't have it on here. I thought never mind. There is on the card there is Nazis / the Thule Society.
Oh.
Which he talks about the occult history of World War II. I'd make an argument that could knock that off. I don't know, maybe you have it on yours. Oh, you have it on yours.
Boom.
I would argue that's close enough.
I think that's close enough. I'm going to take it.
I think with this game we have to be a little
a little flexible. So I have 4 and you have 4, so we're tied up right now.
Well, tell you what, Paul, we can each get 5 really quick if we have a drink.
Oh, well, we did have a drink.
There we go.
A refreshing beverage.
A refreshing beverage for adults.
it was.
Getting my beer.
Okay. So I've not done this research, but are you telling me that it's concrete that FDR, we can find out if we research properly, absolutely was in search of this device and dispatched people to go get it?
You can. There's the letter.
What'd you get?
No, just they've gotten back to this device. They're going to talk about Jesus and the Stargates now.
They are finally going
circled
to talk
back
about Jesus and
the
Stargates.
yeah.
That is in my book is really incredible. FDR was, of course, a Freemason, and he and Henry A. Wallace sort of envisioned themselves as Grail Knights. And in particular, Henry.
Are Grail Knights also the Knight Templar? Who are the Knight Templars?
I would say so. I'd say that's Knight Temp. If you got Templars,
I think
that
so.
off the list. Yeah, we both have it actually. I think. Right?
Oh, okay. Our cards are too similar. We need to. Yeah, all right.
Well, so we maybe will. I got already have some new things to add, so we'll
Perfect.
You know.
I mean, he was FDR's third-term vice president, later ran for president in '48. And this is when a lot of this material started to come out because his political enemies used it against him in the political campaign, saying, look, this guy's, he's got this Russian guru, he's looking for Jesus in Mongolia, this guy's a nutcase. When in fact, what he was trying to pull off was the plan of the founding fathers, who were operating off of a book written by Sir Francis Bacon called The New Atlantis, in which Bacon envisioned the rise of a technologically advanced civilization in America. That book was on the nightstands of the founding fathers, probably not literally, but figuratively, right next to the Bible. And in fact, it was Francis Bacon, the author of that book, that translated the King.
Probably not literally, but probably figuratively. Was it? Yeah.
James version of the Bible, the one that most of us read in Sunday school these days. So that gives you an idea of the political motivation behind Bacon.
So he's been talking about Freemasons. There's a lot of that. Would you say the Illuminati? Is this not similar enough where he's talking about this, shadowy cabal of people shaping our future?
Well, we could. I think we both have Illuminati, so it's up to you.
I feel, as I said, I think we have to be a little generous.
All right. So we're both going to mark off Illuminati. So if you're playing at home,
what do you have that I don't have? Well, we both have Egypt. I don't have King Arthur. Who knows if he's going to show up.
You've got like you're going to fill in on yours. You're definitely going to fill in God and Bible code to feel like those are definitely.
Do you have Egypt on yours?
I don't have Satan. I don't have you're going to get a lot of these.
Yeah, he's talked about Egypt before, so I feel like that's going to come back too. Yeah,
for sure. Art just likes to bring up that he went to Egypt just for no reason.
Art loves it with his. I got the tour that normal people don't get. By normal people, I mean you. By the way, just offhand, completely tangent. I've had no fewer than 4 messages from friends letting me know that I misspelled circles. So, thank you, everybody. Yeah, for helping.
Perfect.
Me. Yeah.
Intention when he translated the King James version of the Bible. They knew that there was a advanced pre-flood civilization, and that civilization would arise in America at this time.
Okay, you have flood though, right? On your card?
Do I have flood on my card? Did I
think you.
I do. Flood. The flood right there. Yeah. Sorry, but I'm glad one of us is paying attention. I'm too drunk.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
Remarkable. All right.
We are.
Right. First time caller line. You're on the air with William Henry. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Where are you?
I'm in Virginia Beach, home of Edgar Casey.
It
ARE.
sure is. Yes, ARE. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was wondering, is the Tree of Life, is that the same one that's found in the Kabbalah?
In the Kabbalah?
Yeah. That's the same. The Tree of Life, he mentioned that the pillar was also called the Tree of Life.
Right. The Tree of Life manifests on 3 levels. It's a technological device. It's a spiritual teaching, which is...
Well, okay. So $2 is not usually enough to get us to drink.
No, it's not.
But,
call this bitches.
No? Look at that. That's a look. That reminds me of like my grade 2 that's, you don't say no to that. So
cheers.
It's right now is not a good time, Shannon, but we will.
You are going to be traveling, and that's going to mess up our next show. I did hear.
I am. That. Yeah. I don't know if we want to talk about it on air or not.
No.
Well, yeah.
Because people might stalk you and they'll follow you wherever it is you're going.
Oh God, I hope so. I'm so lonely. Oh fuck! Did I say that out loud? Shit, I'm bad at
coded in the Kabbalah, the Hebrew mystic book. And it's also modeled in our spinal cord system.
Right.
We have a duplicate of this exterior technology within each of us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so and it's also a model of of creation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be, wouldn't it? In other words, the DNA strand.
Yes. Mm-hmm. In fact, the DNA strand is the symbol for something called the caduceus. We see it on the news. It's the symbol for the American Medical Association.
You know, it scares me that I'm understanding all of this. All right, caller. Thank you very much. Let's keep moving.
Yes, Dave.
I took first-year university microbiology and biochemistry, but I feel you are more qualified than I to speak on matters genetical and the relationship between, deoxyribose nucleic acid and the caduceus.
Well,
yes,
he was basically just trying to say, I think were they basically trying to say that the double helix shape in general
just in time.
Oh,
because you have no friends.
Because I have no friends.
I'm going to need someone to deliver me drinks. That's
you should have more better friends like me. That was my friend Darrell, who was one of the people who let me know that I misspelled circles. There is a party going on upstairs in my house right now, by the way. There's like numerous people up there, and I'm here.
See? And now
you're
complaining about loneliness. You got a party going on upstairs, but you've chosen to be with us.
Absolutely. Like, can you blame me?
No. Yeah, exactly. You're in the better part.
Last week because it was Heath and Queen? Somebody was talking a lot of shit about me last week. There was a lot of aggression.
It was Heath and Queen.
Yeah, now we're having a nice time.
That's right.
People are talking nice about my beard. They're stroking my self-esteem. My therapist is going to be very pleased.
Wildcard line, you're on the air with William Henry. Hello.
I thought you forgot about me, Art.
No, I didn't forget you.
Yes, I'm going to add Drunk Shannon.
I almost forgot what I called about.
Uh-oh.
I had talked to Zachariah Sitchin, Mr. Henry.
Mm-hmm.
What you're looking for is called the Jed pillars.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, they have 4 capacitive plates on the top, and they're mounted on a waveguide, which has a coupling horn on the bottom.
Well, that sure as hell sounds right to me. Ma'am, where did you get that? All this? You. Let me stop. A lot of people in the audience won't know, but you have just described a true electronic device, a microwave reception device. That's what you have just described. A capacitance hat. The antenna itself, and then waveguide, which is used in modern day
radar.
Well, radar. It's used. Waveguide is used in all kinds of applications. I built and tested waveguide for IT&T early in my life back in Nutley, New Jersey, and so that's what you're saying. This whole thing was exactly what William Henry says it is, an electronic receiving device.
Yes. Well, it's not only a receiving device; it emits, and it does the same thing. It works on the same principle as a flying saucer. What it does is the capacitive plates. They use several of them in conjunction. They're what they use to lift the blocks.
This caller is derailing the show at this
stating conjecture is established fact is just going to be like a free space, essentially.
That's like a free square at this point. Yeah,
it's the same technology as UFOs. Oh, okay. Well,
well then.
I also want to point out how delighted I am the number of song lyrics just being thrown out in chat, which is a bad habit of mine. I will just sprinkle my actual day-to-day conversation with song lyrics.
We have a straight Shannon. Right?
No, I was at a party.
Oh, we got a straight Shannon there.
Oh, someone delivered me a drink.
Hey, there we go. Everybody wants to be on the team with the cool kids.
That's right.
For the pyramid.
In other words, the same exact technology.
Yeah.
Tones, yeah.
The place
tones that this would emit would lift those blocks.
Because UFO technology is just the category that we know about.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
This is all beginning to come together now.
Okay, the plates create an electrostatic grid. The waveguide warps the grid, makes that pinhole above it, and the horn couples the block to the device. but the little pinhole is what forces. See, gravity's mass is lazy; it's inert, and it will go to the null point, and the pinhole makes the null point above it, so it all rushes up to the null point, and that's what lifts things.
Who are
I'm
you?
dying. I'm dying. I can't. I just can't. Yeah. Also, thank you, Johnny. That's just good advice. Good advice. That deserves, my friend.
Cheers. Oh,
Yes, sir.
now we have to do it again. Or I'm going to.
Well, all right.
John Geyer. Drink up. What was called? So previously, I have been
Yes, that is
saving.
bad. That would certainly classify as bad science evidence.
I was drinking. I've been saving it for the specialist of occasions, the Vice Rhino rum,
Yeah.
and then my normal rum is
I need to go.
I'm a low class Captain Morgan drinking Captain Morgan and Coke Zeros. That's my normal drink.
If anybody throws out another really good chat, I will go and refill my glass with classy rum or scotch. Right now, I'm just drinking beer.
Thank you, Joe Hill.
Thank you, Joe Hill.
We tried in our first episode just to drink on pure on demand, and that didn't go well.
Oh my god. It's yeah.
So our doctors asked us to revise the show, and so now it's merit based drinking, not pure economy based drinking. So
do the watermelon crawl. Okay, no, I'm not gonna sing the songs that the lyrics are. We're good.
Uh-oh. Now I have a call coming in.
Oh my god. We're clearly professionals.
What the? I get
I don't
one
do this
call
for a
a
living,
month.
and I silenced my phone.
I don't know what's happening here.
So everybody at home doesn't. So Paul and I talk before the show starts. We just have a chat. We catch up. We go over some stuff.
Yep.
One of the things Paul's like, so you got your phone on silent, right? There's not going to be any alerts or weird noises coming in. No, man, I got it. I got her on lock. You fucking hypocrite.
I literally.
I want you to know that I was outside and I heard you say that was Captain Morgan. That is 7-year-old Florida.
Oh, what? No, that's what I was drinking before.
That's
what I was drinking before.
Hello, Shannon. Is that Shannon?
is Florida Canna. Appreciate it properly.
I'm now drinking Florida Canna, which is an amazing rum, which is amazing.
Florida Canna is very good. I'm a more El Dorado fan personally.
But yes, I deserve chastisement. I have I get one call a month. I literally do, so I don't know what's happening.
It's true. It's whatever. We can get into more of the dynamics of our past in a few, but
that's right.
Every now and then I phone Paul and he takes the call because he knows how much I enjoy talking to people face to face, voice to voice. And I restrain myself from calling Paul too often. I scratch his back, he scratches mine. Every now and then I call him, and every now and then
I hate the phone. The phone has never been my friend. All right,
which is strange. You have got this Kelsey Grammer almost voice. Like,
ooh,
I feel like you should be narrating audiobooks.
Well,
am I not wrong? Am I wrong, chat? Like, I feel like Paul could make real money doing
voiceover for audiobooks.
Yeah,
sure. I will one day hopefully narrate my own audiobook. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, you got to write it first.
True.
I told you I'm the reincarnation of Khufu's daughter. And I believe the King of Terror that you're talking about.
How do you know of all of this, please? I mean, you
obviously... Wait, Paul, please, because we kind of got off.
Know exactly what you're talking about.
Please rewind the audio like 30 seconds. I want to hear, what's the lead into the I'm the reincarnation of Khufu's daughter?
Saucer. What it does is the capacitive plates. They use several of them in conjunction. They're what they use to lift the blocks for the pyramid.
Oh, okay.
In other words, the same exact technology.
Yeah.
Tones, yeah.
The plates
tones that this would emit would lift those blocks.
I'm beginning. This is all.
Egypt. We got Egypt.
Yeah. We missed that before when I was blah blah blahing.
All right, so we're gonna put Egypt up on my card. So I currently have 8. We're not that far in, and we already got 8 squares.
Yeah.
You have,
but the thing is, because you're trying to make a line, right? Like,
yeah, no, exactly. But I'm just, it's astonishing.
Oh,
So
aliens! I get to take aliens off on mine. Yeah,
you do. Yeah.
The cryptid one will be tough, but that's a potential line. AI. Oh, see, yeah, no, AI singularity doesn't count with the Y2K stuff. We got to separate.
No, and I also think for you, chemtrails is going to be tricky.
Chemtrails is not going to come up tonight. I don't think that one's.
So
yeah, cryptids is not going to come up.
Oh, but the Ark of the Covenant is a possibility. So you got some good.
I got some good.
Yeah. You got some good opportunities. All right.
Beginning to come together now.
Okay, the plates create an electrostatic grid. The waveguide warps the grid, makes that pinhole above it.
Oh, good. Heathen queen.
And the horn couples the block to the device. But the little pinhole is what forces... See, gravity's mass is lazy. It's inert. And it will go to the null point. And the pinhole makes the null point above it. So it all rushes up to the null point. And that's what lifts things.
Who are you?
I told you I'm the reincarnation of Khufu's daughter.
Don't encourage her, Shannon. Okay, so we didn't miss anything.
Terror that you're
how do you know of all of this, please? I mean, you obviously know exactly what you're talking about, and so that's why I said, who are you? And
I'm Gina. I told you my sister has the aliens living with her.
Do you have a bingo, John Rapp? Also, Paul, you missed it. There was a super chat back a bit ago.
I got this one
from Phil Greeley. Yes, that was the one. Yeah.
Khufu's daughter demands you drink. Well, I'm not drinking on demand, but if I was going to have some of this anyway.
I'm doing this because I want to. John Rapp says he has a bingo.
Oh, what card number?
I don't know. What's the number on your card, John? It'll say at the top bingo card ID.
So yeah, you can't see it on the thing because the toast logo doesn't work.
Because I can, if he's legit, I can bring him up unless he's just saying it for whatever. Now,
but if you legitimately, if you're looking for the prize from pants, I think only Dave and I are eligible. But we'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately, only Paul and I can win the pant.
I have a doubt.
He's 006. Okay. I have. Okay, so let me pull up card 6 here. Which row do you have there, John? Just let me know where your bingo is, because I'm kind of looking. Do you want me to?
Meanwhile, I'm going to read.
Yeah.
Mike MC says, "Pat, this tech can become a billionaire." Absolutely.
The null point rock lifting tech that the daughter of Khufu has. Yeah. With her whatever helmet.
All right, I'm gonna keep playing the show while you look for the bingo card.
You do it, because I'm looking at this.
Right,
I don't see a bingo.
I've also been under the Sphinx, and there's a lake under there.
No, the bottom row. He absolutely
a lake
does.
under the Sphinx.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you want me to send you a screen grab or anything, Paul. Do you care?
No. We acknowledge you. We salute you.
You did win, John Rapp. Congratulations
on your bingo win. But
the ones he ticked off was the flood, stating wild conjecture as established fact, God, Egypt, and Nostradamus. He had all of that in a row. So
wow.
Yep.
Well done, John Rapp.
Yep.
Cheers to you. But Dave and I are still in our hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for you, but it doesn't fucking mean a thing.
Well, it does. You've earned respect and possibly only respect.
Oh, absolutely, and that's questionable.
There is in fact water under that.
Water is probably the power source for this, as near as I can tell. In addition to the golden water appears the locations where this has been installed, and the lake is called the Lake of Fire, the Lake of Frequency Vibration.
Well, I can tell you there's water there. There is a center in the walkway, the pyramids, there's a
We're so
door you
close
can
to Egypt.
open that leads straight down about 100 and some odd feet. And when you get down there, there's water.
There's water in the pit now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there. I'm
They
telling
were
you.
going to build the pyramid just south of the Sphinx, and they had the whole bottom structure laid out. And Jennifer came along and told them that there was water under there and they couldn't build it there. So they built it north of it, where it is now.
Well, there is now water under there. That was a remarkable woman. Wow.
A lot of people leave parties to play bingo with me, Shannon.
Do we feel like we're close enough to mark off Egypt?
Oh, you absolutely. If you haven't marked off Egypt yet, you should.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I gotta.
I don't know what more you could ask for. They're talking about the
Oh,
Sphinx
we already had
pyramids,
Egypt marked off. Okay.
Yeah, they've.
Fine.
Not sure about a couple of the things she said there, but what she described was an accurate description extending from what you said about the gold antenna.
Right. I'm not a technically oriented person.
I understand. Well, I am a little bit.
Yeah.
And what she described was accurate and fit right in with what you were saying, William. Remarkable.
That's why he didn't patent his 0-point energy, because he's just not a technically minded person.
East of the Rockies, you're on the air with William Henry. Hello.
Yes, hi, Art. First of all, as far as Y2K, I don't believe we have to be scared as long as we're prepared. We need to get our money out of the banks and turn it into hard money, gold and silver, and put away some food. The connection, your guest finally mentioned the connection between all of these things, Solomon's Temple, Rennes le Chateau, which was talked about in the books Holy Blood, Holy Grail, and the Messianic Legacy.
Yep.
And the pillar he's talking about, I think, is probably really a four-sided obelisk, like shaped like the Washington Monument.
Kate, does the Holy Grail count for King Arthur?
Holy Grail count for King Arthur? I think so. I think we have to.
Oh yeah.
I think we have to allow that.
We might change that to King Arthur / Holy Grail going forward.
What I didn't realize when I said that, I actually also have King Arthur. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, oh, you got angels on yours? Yeah, nice.
That actually.
Oh, Paul,
what?
You can definitely take off ancient prophecies on yours.
Oh, you think so? Ancient prophecies?
Yeah, he's brought up some ancient prophecy stuff.
Yeah, all right. Where is my ancient prophecies? There it is.
Right next to Have a Drink.
Yeah. Not Dead Sea Scrolls yet.
No, we haven't. In this episode, we have not mentioned the Dead Sea Scrolls once.
Say what? You both talked.
I'm saying the connection between all these is Freemasonry. Is quite obvious to me.
Yeah.
It's an important connection, certainly.
The Freemasons have their allegorical story of Hiram Abiff, the supposed builder of Solomon's Temple, and Rennes le Chateau, and other churches in France. If you connect the dots between them, you get a pentagram and an obelisk. A pentagram and a hexagram. And as far as Jesus being a terror,
King of Terror.
He came first as a lamb. He's going to come back as a lion, and that's because just before he was crucified, he took a whip to the money changers in the temple, and that kind of PO'd the banker, the Federal Reserve of that day. And today he's going to come back and he's going to be a terror not to his people, the good Christians, but to those bankers and the Illuminati, workers of iniquity, and Freemasons of today.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, he's a terror-inducing figure, not to the believers, but to those for whom he's going to expose for what they really are.
Well, okay, let me translate this into something I can understand. When he gets here, in July of 99, will William Greenspan be going to work as usual?
Yeah, he probably will be. Might not. Yeah, I would say he would be, certainly.
Alan Greenspan.
Alan Greenspan, yeah, because the life will go on for a lot of those folks. I mean,
I know, but wouldn't he be the modern day money changer?
Could be.
All right. Back now to William Henry, and are you there, William?
Yes, I am.
All right. Let's first finish up with this call, and then I've got a fax for you that you're probably going to love or hate.
I got a fax for you, Dave. It ain't coming.
Yes. Yeah. You're probably gonna love or hate. Anyways, you apparently have a rice cake situation you have to go deal with. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, apparently I am. I'm in for a crummy bedtime.
Yep, you get a nice scratchy bed to sleep in tonight. Enjoy.
Caller, you're back on the air.
Yes, Art?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. I also disagree with your guest about the meaning of the Great Seal on the back of the dollar bill. That was designed by Freemasons, and that's not the eye of God on the top of it. That's the eye of their god, Lucifer. And you can prove it by take a hexagram.
You had Satan, right? I feel like
I
that's
did.
close.
I did, absolutely.
I feel like that's close enough. Lucifer.
Yeah, I mean
Satan,
Lucifer. That's yeah.
It's about as good as you get.
Yeah. Oh boy, I'm kicking ass here.
You are. Oh, Dead
those
Sea
pants.
Scrolls, and you get a win. Holy cow!
Those pants are gonna be so nice.
I am far off. You are. You're looking.
And
good.
he has mentioned the Dead Sea Scrolls before, so that might happen.
Has.
Yeah.
Hold it.
Hang on,
Slow up here. The god of Lucifer, their god. The Masons' god is Lucifer, is what you just said, William.
Yes, a top Freemason named Albert Pike admitted that in his book Morals and Dogma.
All right, let's let my guest respond to that.
The Great Seal, as it appears on the back of the $1 bill, was designed under the watchful eye of Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams. To my knowledge, they were not Satan worshippers.
Franklin was a Mason,
and where that came from, that was commissioned on July 4th, 1776. And they went through a selection process of several different symbols that might represent the American enterprise. It'd be the logo of the American enterprise. And one of the proposals came from Thomas Jefferson. He wanted to see, Benjamin Franklin. He wanted to see Moses leading the Israelites through the Red Sea, because the founding fathers connected themselves with the Israelites. They had come to a foreign land, a promised land, where they had hoped they would be able to connect with their God, who was not Lucifer, but the God that most of us are aware of.
All right, this guy's trying to say that the Masons worship Lucifer.
Joe Hill is cheating.
Benjamin Franklin was.
I hate to bring it up, Joe Hill. You cannot mark angels because they mark Satan. There is a specific thing for Satan. So sorry, dude. You got to uncheck that one.
Yeah, we're not accepting that as a win.
I love you like a brother, Joe, but I can't let you slide that one under.
The integrity of the game is important.
It's absolutely. The work is important and mysterious. And he said,
the Mason and a Rosicrucian.
I'm still waiting for crop circles, but
you know what? You can all just go right to hell. When he brings up crop circles, you're all gonna look pretty fucking stupid, aren't you? You and all of my friends watching at home, texting me and letting me know that I can't spell.
Every president has been a Mason, and the Rosicrucians, they attempted to bring forth ancient teachings, marrying the religions of East and West, and marrying the old-time religion with the new-time religion. And I can see a little bit how we might get the Lucifer interpretation in there, but I'm not sure that that's the correct one.
And the word Mason is spelled out, M-A-S-O-N is spelled out by the pyramid with the eye symbol. If you simply take a hexagram, which is used by the Freemasons, just like a pentagram, is also used in witchcraft and etc. Take a hexagram and draw it over the pyramid with the eye, and you start out with an M, where the date in 1776 in Roman numerals starts with the M, D, C. The M goes up to the A in Annual Corruptus, and then it goes over to the S at the end of Annual Corruptus, and then it goes over down to the O in Novus Ordo Seclorum, which means New World Order, basically. Then it goes up and over on the other triangle of the hexagram to the N at the beginning of Novus Ordo Seclorum, so you have M-A-S-O-N.
Yeah, that's the thing. The sacred geometry was really inherent in all those symbols.
What the fuck is he talking about?
So if you take the Roman numerals, you start with M.
Yeah.
That doesn't stand for anything except for RM, but the next one you count to the A because oh my goodness.
Like it sounded like he was saying you take like some phrase and like write it around the hexagram in spacing of whatever way and like somehow match. Basically you can make this match up. Anyways, Melody Kate made my Friday night seriously rough week, bringing weekend on strong. I am sorry to hear you've had a rough week. But
cheers to
you,
Melody.
Very glad that you're here with us, and I hope that we are bringing a little bit of happiness to your life. Cheers to you, Melody.
And it was
What's
Okay, so I just needed somebody
Sam?
in chat named Titan Uranus. I don't know if that was there the whole time or if somebody changed their name. Yeah.
Is designed very much like the artworks of Leonardo da Vinci and others who were mystics that were encoding these geometries within their paintings. It's very complex, very complicated, and certainly as open to interpretation as the prophecies of Nostradamus or others.
Well, yeah, whether you're talking about the prophecy of Nostradamus or the mysticism, ancient mysticism, you can apply it to anything you want. Can't you, William?
I think so. Current events, everything. Certainly,
but I mean, that's what you would be charged with, applying, simply taking our mystical history and applying it to a theory that you have. And if you wish to challenge me and say it is not a theory, or even a belief structure, as in religion, then what is it?
Yeah, I'm presenting a theory based upon an interpretation of the ancient myths in the Kabbalistic language that was used by these prophets. And, yeah, it's certainly open to interpretation. And remember, the book of Revelation, the Bible, other of these texts, there's at least 2 or 3 levels of meaning embedded within those stories. Typically, we invoke the most surface interpretation of the story.
Yes.
Sometimes we get a little bit beneath the surface, and there's many levels, probably as many as 7.
All right. Here's a fax that sounds like something a lot of people out there in my audience would have written. Okay, you ready? Hey, Art, I'll guarantee your guess this much. If something does come from the sky in July and calls itself the King of Terror, I'll do my damn level best to blow it to hell and back and send it right back where it came from. I'll bet if you take a poll, I'm not alone.
I share that sentiment. Leave it the hell alone.
Merca.
Yeah. The queen or king now shows up and starts telling me what to do.
Oh, that's funny. Because, the party of Jesus, the American Republicans, would literally shoot Jesus down.
Yep. For any of the shit that he suggested. Yep.
Why can't we develop as our own species on our own time at our own pace?
Oh, you share the sentiment.
I share that sentiment. I balance it with what the potential benefit might be here. I try to go as close down the middle. I'm a reporter of these myths. I'm not trying to present a total theory to say you must believe William Henry, the Gospel of William Henry. That's not it at all. I'm trying to position myself as in the middle, saying this is the research that I've turned up.
Yeah.
It can apply to numerous situations in both sides of the equation, and I do have those days. It's like, get these people out of our life. I mean, what have they really contributed to us? Have we seen any benefit of this alleged ET interaction, of these higher spiritual beings coming into our earth? What religion has done anything but spawn war and fracturing our civilization? There isn't a single thought form or religion on the planet that brings the human race together. It just simply divides us. So why do we even bother with this crap at all?
So they're nothing but divisive.
Father, hey, I feel you might have something to say on that. I have a number of thoughts.
Go for it.
One, I know Art Bell is actually in general fairly pro-religion. He was a person who believed that religion was an important part of society and served an important purpose in society. What the specifics of religion were, he was very, open on, but he was more or less a very pro-spiritualism religious person. So I know he strongly disagrees with the guest on this, though he's not going to bring it up.
Sure. Was that a caller or the guest?
Well, I think was that not the guest there talking?
Oh, no, because it was
reading the facts, right, and got into.
Yeah. So
also, I just want to point out that I think Heathen Queen needs to look in the mirror, because I think the answer to that question that she just asked is, maybe you got to answer that yourself. Why haven't you been on Toast to Toast?
How pretty. Yeah, we're not going to get into too much, right?
But yes, the has there ever been a religion that didn't do it? Only this guest clearly has a fairly negative opinion of religion and feels I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Well, I think as my audience, my regular audience will know that I would call myself an anti-theist, which is not a step beyond atheist. It's not like that doesn't mean you're a super serious atheist. Anti-theist, as I describe it, is against religions.
Yeah.
And I would be with the camp that says all religions cause some levels of harm. I feel like one can quibble about whether there's a balance, whether maybe perhaps the positive impacts have outweighed the negative. In that discussion could be had, but I don't think there's any religion that can come out and said we've had no negative impact on anyone.
Yeah.
And for me, all it takes for there to be harm is that you are making decisions based on facts that are not factual, or you're making decisions based on notions or ways of thinking that are actually ultimately not correct or don't comport to reality. And that in and of itself is a harm. So it'd be very tough for someone to say, well, even if my religion is false, it did no harm. Well, if your religion was false, you made decisions based on false premises, and therefore you've done some harm, at least to yourself. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
If you define harm that way.
And if you define harm that way, I am also several drinks in, and I reserve.
I'm
the
not
right,
purposely goading you, which I shouldn't do. But
I reserve the right at this point to say that perhaps I didn't express every
Although
word of that.
I'm the ideal person for you to get into a. I could come back the other way because I am not, particularly informed in any of this. So even in your current inebriated state, you could probably quite handily defeat me in any kind of actual.
I feel like if you're willing to accept my premise that making decisions based on false premises is a harm, that if you also grant, for the sake of a hypothetical, that a religion is false, then it's like, well, no, obviously that's a modus ponens.
Yes. But in the sake of this conversation or argument, I would not be willing. I would grant the second. I wouldn't grant the first. But we're not going to get into that because I also, that's not what this show is about. And it would just be me. Yeah, do it, Paul. Do it like Kent Hovind.
So Kent Hovind describes it as pelagia.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Pelagia. For those of you who are familiar with my main channel, I have been dealing exclusively with Kent Hovind for the past 3 days. I'm doing my annual Kent Hovind expose, and it's way too much.
Yeah, I feel like you need a break.
I needed this badly. So
you need some
thank you to everyone for that, and thank you, John, for your super chat.
Hey, Paul. Right. Paul, you want to hear a joke?
Yes.
There's a man is in a terrible accident, and he loses 4 fingers on his hand. Tragedy. So he has surgery and he has physiotherapy and he's getting all fixed up. And after this, he's talking to his doctor and he says, "Doctor, am I going to be able to learn to write with just the thumb and the one hand?" And the doctor says, "Maybe, but I wouldn't count on it." It's funny.
Is that our high note? Do we end on that high note, or do we keep listening?
Good night, folks.
Is that a good night, folks, Dave?
No, it's not. I just got a fresh drink. How far in are we? Are we?
We are. There is.
Vishanti, you just don't get it.
So, unfortunately, in real time, there is 30 minutes left in the show.
This guy's so good.
But I'm feeling like I'm unhappy.
I'm perfectly willing to go the distance tonight. So
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Hey, Joe, there we go.
Thank you, Joe.
I mean, I guess we just need to, less of us and more of.
But I also feel like the callers are the callers and the faxes.
Mm-hmm.
This show doesn't accept faxes. Our show, the toast to toast.
You don't have that technology yet.
We don't know. I feel like that's ruining the streak he was on to eventually get us to the Jesus Stargates. I'm worried we're not going to get to the Jesus Stargates.
Feels like there's support. So maybe that should be. Should I start ending the show on a joke? We could make that a thing. That could be our.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
But you think we should keep going a little bit? All right.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's only 10. Well, where I am, it's still early. We're not
Yeah.
even at the 2-hour mark yet.
Yeah. All right.
Little slugs.
It's all designed to put humanity at odds with one another so that you draw a line in the sand that says, this is my God, don't you dare come near and touch it, and your God is inferior to my God.
You're an interesting person, Mr. Henry.
Thank you.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air with William Henry. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing.
My name is April. I'm listening to you on KFRE in Hollywood.
Hello there, April.
And you'll have to bear with me. I've got a little cold.
I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah. Mr. Henry, you sort of redeemed yourself from some of the comments I was going to make in the comments you just made in the past 2 minutes or so, because I was going to ask, I mean, you've cross-referenced literally like every mythology that I could think of off the top of my head. We've made reference to the tarot, to the Fibonacci sequence, everything. And I was going to essentially ask why it was that all of this went into supporting the return of the God of the Judeo-Christian power structure. It just bothers me. But now that I hear that, well, at least that isn't your main agenda, I'm still a little bit curious as to the amount of time and energy that has gone into researching myths and tying myths together when myth is metaphor to man. It's not something that was ever meant to be taken literally, and we've gotten into so much trouble as a society with religion dividing us by taking myth as fact.
Yep.
Okay, I've been waiting, but I feel like what she literally just said the sentence, mythological creatures discussed as fact.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that.
That's pretty much what that person just said.
Yeah, like she used basically those exact words, so it's very hard to go.
I'm checking that off for myself.
Shannon, I 100% agree with you. How many goddamn shows do I have to listen to before we can hear about motherfucking Stargates?
Yeah.
I feel like we're never gonna. I'm starting to feel like we aren't pulled the bait and switch. We're never gonna actually hear about Stargates.
We're never gonna hear about the actual Stargates.
Yeah.
We had the columns last time that were almost acting like Stargates.
Yeah, he kind of like towed up against it, but they never have gotten like into the nuts and bolts of it.
Sonic Shroom. Yes.
Do you have it? Cats were domesticated over 10,000 years ago, yet only one mention in the Bible. Any thoughts?
Well,
you're so fucking smart, Paul. You tell me about that.
Well, I mean, so there was one.
Yeah.
So, I really don't. What am I supposed to? Am I missing the point here? Should there should just be more cats because the Bible is. I mean,
between you and Sonic Shroom, I'm just the commentator.
All right, Sonic. I guess my thoughts are that just clearly cats are not important to God's plan. And perhaps antithetical to God's plan. And really, that's just you can take that for what it's worth. God hates cats.
Unpopular opinion, cats are the fucking worst. Hey, Paul, you like boxes of shit in your house? Get a cat. Anyways, let's carry on with the show. Now the internet's going to turn against me.
You may have lost some points in my house, but that's all right.
The sad truth is I actually like cats, but I'm highly allergic to cats.
Saying, no matter what your belief behind it might be, that the terror or Christ or whoever is returning in June or July of '99 is just going to stir up the waters for people who are already uncertain and clinging to the fragile sinking boat that religion and philosophy provides for them, and giving them something else to be nervous about. And when we are too busy spending time with things that don't exist, things that we cannot verify, things that are beyond our perception, UFOs, whatever you want to call them, spirits, gods, when we really need to be living in this world right now. And also,
I'm going to take ghosts. I feel like I got ghosts on that.
Yeah,
one.
there you go. That was mentioned ghosts. I also feel like this caller is surprisingly like
cogent.
Yeah. Like, we're spending all this time arguing about all this shit, but it's like, hey, there's a whole bunch of like actual real world problems that are things that you need to deal with. your grocery lists and getting your laundry done and taxes and government corruption and child soldiers in Somalia and all these very real problems, and you're worried about fucking UFOs and Jesus Stargates.
Vishanti, did you really get a bingo? And if so, let us know.
Yeah, what was your card number, Vishanti?
What your card number was?
I saw somebody else said it earlier, and I kind of just let it go by.
Yeah, do tag us and let us know what your bingo card number was, and Dave will look it up.
I'll look it up. I will verify your bingo. Not saying you're a cheater, but the process must be respected.
Come to an end. That is an inevitable fact of existing on this earth. Things come to an end. They have a terminus point. And to sit here and to debate this structure and that structure, one against the other, and to just stir up poor adult-hated people, many of whom I think are probably listening tonight, is really kind of sad. And I'll listen to your comments because I can't talk for too much longer.
Yeah, I can hear you're about to break down.
Yeah, but thank you. I'd really like to hear what you have to say.
All right, coming right up. William?
Well, I would say it's a necessary part of the process, and I go back to Joseph Campbell, the great mythologist, that he attempted to put together in effect, the human story. We're all involved in a cosmic drama, and we have to use myth as signposts of where we're at in that story. We all came from a creator. We'll all eventually return to the creator, and myth is what guides us in between that.
Oh, sorry.
So, as someone who worked for George Lucas, and you should probably put, Paul mentions George Lucas on a card.
Yes.
somewhere.
Oh, okay. No, let's go on the list here. Yeah.
Mentions. Although it seems like that would be one I would be able to, if it came up on my card, I'd be able to affect it. So that's maybe.
Yeah, that's maybe not true. But you know what? We're all having fun here.
That's right. So Joseph Campbell, famously set out what he felt, what he discovered were the common tropes. Essentially, we now call them tropes among the mythology of many, many people.
Vishanti is right, by the way. Sorry. Yeah.
Creation. Oh, did you get it?
She got a government agency, agent prophecies, have a drink, ghosts, and God.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Vishanti, cheers to you.
Hey, wait.
Vishanti,
did you have a drink?
You
don't just get to mark that space. There are rules.
I don't know how
mark
we're verifying
that space without having a drink. That's like playing tennis without a net. It might look cool, but it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. You got to take a drink. Paul and I both have taken drinks.
We are on screen.
Yeah.
Having.
Okay, so Vishanti says, laughing out. Of course, she has. I will take Vishanti's word for it.
Okay. All right. So we're at least getting affirmation, and and whichever the what did they call
by
it?
all means, Vishanti, please tell me what you're specifically drinking. I'm genuinely
the King of Terror will be upon you.
Yes.
In July of 1999, if you are wrong, if you lie. Here on this,
I'm not familiar with Blue Ware California gin, but I do like gin if I ever get a chance. I've never seen it in our poor, bereft Canadian liquor stores.
No, me neither. Apparently Shannon has.
Well, there you go.
There you
go. That doesn't surprise me even a little bit. You lush.
All right, I'm done talking about Joseph Campbell, other than to say that he did not talk about creators and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sorry. I completely derailed your point there.
Interpretive.
Well, it is. It's incredibly subjective. She has, the time she talked about, for me, it's a full-time job, 16 years, couple of thousand books worth of research. And it was only within the past couple of years that I was able to kind of feel myself getting up to the level where I understood what some of these stories were talking about. And it was primarily through the lens of Zecharia Sitchin that opened it up to the possibility that there was an original pre-flood advanced civilization that had this sort of technology.
Sure.
And this is what all myth is speaking of. All of the Garden of Eden stories, the creation myths refer to the story of Atlantis, of this original homeland, which, by the way, was on Earth, but it was also in the stars as well. That's what we're beginning to learn. So
I know they do. Undeniably. First-time caller line, your turn with William Henry. Hello.
Hello, this is Don.
What you got excited about?
I'm always excited when a first-time caller.
Oh yeah,
because sometimes you get just the craziest ass shit. But
on in Huntington Beach.
Hi, Don.
How you doing, Art?
Okay.
Pleasure to get on. I wanted to ask William, do you in fact believe in reincarnation?
Yes, I do.
You're great. Are you familiar, William, with the works of like Burton Mack and Bruce Metzger and those people?
Why
No, I am not.
Because they really show the true redaction and all the deletion and the additions and all of that was done to the New Testament, because they have since found early New Testament script that when you pair it up to the latter, especially the King James, it's vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take words out of the Greek, such as for instance,
So those are my audience. For those who don't know, Bruce Metzger is the teacher, the professor who was the PhD supervisor of Bart Ehrman, who's often on my channel. So
I did not know that.
Yes.
Wait, so just give us a little, fill it out. Who's this
Fill it
person?
out?
What did they? Yeah.
Who Bart Ehrman is, or who Bruce Metzger is?
Metzger.
Oh, so Metzger literally was in the 20th century, like the leading textual critic out there. Like, so he was weirdly, like most of us who watch my channel would be more familiar with Bart, but he was like the Bart Ehrman times 10 of the 1900s. And so that's why Bart Ehrman went to study where he did, was because Bruce Metzger was the teacher there. Bruce Metzger,
kind of the OG, as the kids say.
He was the OG, but Bruce Metzger lived and died his whole life as a Christian, so he believed it the entire time. So his invention of a lot of the tools that are used for textual criticism and a lot of the the procedures that they use now for determining which manuscripts tracing where these textual variants happen and all those kind of things, and developing a lot of that framework that is used now. It didn't shake his faith in any way. He saw these hundreds of thousands of variations and just took them for what they were. So it's not like textual criticism in and of itself, which is basically trying to figure out why manuscripts vary from one to another. That's really all textual criticism is.
Yeah.
Bruce Metzger, survived his faith. Bart came to different conclusions for different reasons. But anyway, definitely a well-known scholar that this person is talking about.
King James rendering of hell in the King James version of the Bible today. That word hell means root cellar, and they placed that word to Tartaros, Gehenna, and Hades, which are three distinctively different words, but they all took a broad paintbrush and put the word hell on there.
Okay, so I was with him up until root cellar.
Yeah.
So there are Gehenna and some of those other words are definitely distinct words.
Yes.
We do not have distinct words in English so we use them as hell. And of course, some people think Gehenna is actually literally just a tire fire outside of Jerusalem.
That's a fairly common going from one language to another, where there aren't words to match, so we use a word to cover all of these words because there is no so like to use it as whatever.
But the caller, I'm skeptical now that this caller, even though I was on board up until this point, may have a relevant point.
That is just a great example of the tremendous amount of corruption from the pure, distinct word that was originally in the New Testament, and unfortunately, theologies became built that exist even unto today upon these erroneous translations of the original words. My question would be: Have you ever heard of sea coop shellhorn?
I haven't.
You gave us a lecture about translating Greek.
Yeah.
And my question is unrelated.
Yeah. So I would from the outsider's view, somebody
Mhm.
who is not as invested in some of the religious implications of some of this, but somebody who has studied. I was an English literature major, and
Oops, another one.
studied language and what's the word? Philology. I can't think of it now. I'm too drunk. The origins of words and the history of
Etymology?
language. Yeah, sort of like Tolkien's ish, right?
Look at me, etymology with the
Yeah.
drink thing late.
Like he's not wrong in that but to suggest that Christian scholars through the centuries were not very familiar with like the actual Greek,
Yes.
or Aramaic, or what. It's not like, oh, hey, the fact that phileo and agape and eros are all translated as love in English and it super messes up, is like, no, everybody fucking knew this, because in the Middle Ages, in fact, like everybody spoke Greek, everybody spoke Latin, everybody spoke Aramaic. Like they all read these things in the original language that they were written in. They weren't reading these in King James English.
Yeah,
the people who were creating the theology that modern Christianity is based on were not reading modern English versions of the Bible.
No, there's no line of theology, good grief, that was that is as new as English is.
No. Like he's not wrong in a way. It's like that is a thing where there's like a bunch of stuff in the Bible, or any. It's certainly not constrained to the Bible, where it's like modern takes of other. Like if you read a novel based on the Three Kingdoms, or the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, the very famous Chinese literary work, and it's like an English translation is not going to have some of the same things, because we don't have English words to match some of the stuff. So you do the best you can, but you get the gist of it across. And I happen to think the King James Bible, for example, does a very good job of that, where they manage to poetically or metaphorically create much of the same. They're very good at, like, this isn't a word-to-word translation, but it creates the same. This is what the Greeks were saying, the Aramaic or the Greek. This is
it's
the same meaning across. We're doing it in an English way, because the people who wrote this spoke the original language very well and understood what the actual meaning was. Because a lot of this was metaphor.
And that is an interesting, like, as a translation strategy, right? You have to do. Am I trying to say literally?
Yeah.
Like let's say
am I doing the Google Translate, where it's like, this is a word for word translation, but the entire meaning is actually lost.
Right. So like if like 3,000 years from now, like English doesn't exist as it does now, and they look at something, oh, it's raining cats and dogs.
Right.
They see that translation. Well, one strategy would be to say, well, it was raining very heavily.
Yes.
And the other strategy would be to translate literal. It was raining, and whatever the future
domesticated mammals were falling from the sky, right? Like,
exactly.
Yes, that is a literal translation, but it completely misses the point of what. That is not what the author was saying. Yeah.
So different translations.
You're not wrong, Darren. Yeah. Because I have so much truth in me, and the liquor helps me get it out.
He's
dropping truth bombs.
You're so shy initially.
Because I'm normally so shy and reserved.
Familiar with his work?
Yes.
Because he pulls a lot out of the Zach Sitchin stuff, too.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's amazing to me, and this is one thing I've never heard anybody really put a connection to, is there's something going on between the connection of what the Anunnaki did with upgrading.
Do we? No, neither of us have Anunnaki in our thing.
I don't have Anunnaki, no.
That is one of the ones that's on there, the Anunnaki.
Okay. Someone out there is getting closer.
Yeah.
Homo sapiens from Cro-Magnon man, because of something that happened back there that we're getting a little glimmer of. Genesis alludes to it, and of course, Genesis is just a short summary of the Enuma Elish.
Mm-hmm.
And what is...
No, that's correct.
Okay. All right.
Do you know what that is?
I don't.
That's a Mesopotamian creation myth.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've actually read some Mesopotamian creation myths ago, so I probably just missed the name. But yes.
Yeah. So Genesis 1 is uncannily similar
to,
like, and I don't buy into that. That it was like directly, but it was like this was the kind of thing Genesis 1 was speaking to.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Much like the various flood myths throughout the world.
Yeah. Not dissimilar to that.
What is your feeling on that? Do you think there's some connection there that the Anunnaki felt because souls were bound to the earth?
Anunnaki sounds like something I might want to order from like a pasta restaurant.
It's kind of a garlic olive dish. Yeah.
Period of time that they felt that they had to upgrade Cro-Magnon man to a more intelligent being of Homo sapiens in order for them to escape the bondage of reincarnation to this planet. And is that not, in fact, what could possibly be going on right now? They're getting ready to upgrade us genetically again.
I totally agree with that. I've written a follow-up book.
This man is the best. Like the amount of stuff he is able to just pack. It's like how, you know, when in Simpsons, when Homer takes 10 pounds of spaghetti and presses it into bar form and eats it.
He has to do a bar form.
Like, this guy just takes the most, like, well, it's the Anunnaki who were genetically advancing Cro-Magnon man to make us intelligent. And you're just like, in 2 sentences, you threw out like 5 crazy ass fucking ideas. How do you even do that? And you did it without cracking a smile. Like, this is just the most common thing.
I mean, he completely lost me. Even like I would have, when I was a Christian, I would have been all on board with some of it because it's kind of cool to think this through. But it's like, it's like in the first second, it's like, do you think reincarnation is true? Oh yeah. Okay, let's move on from there. And it's like, wait,
something most Christians would be dead set against. Yeah,
like that's incompatible with Christianity. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
And also Timothy Harmon, thank you for the non.
Yes. Nothing. No requests. No comment. Just he likes.
Appreciate that.
You know what, Paul? Timothy Harmon likes you enough to give you $10, and I don't blame him.
Or perhaps you.
I think we all know what's going on here.
So we're getting close to the top of the hour.
So
we'll
it's
plow through.
It's decision time. It's decision time, friend. What's the plan going forward? Are we?
Well, I'm hoping that we're going to hit Dead Sea Scrolls in the next couple of minutes, and then we'll both win.
Okay. Yeah.
So here's my card. We're looking at I will win with Dead Sea Scrolls. I feel like number stations are out of the thing.
Yeah, I don't think number stations are going to come up today. The AI singularity is not going to come up today.
So, and I also like angels are possible, and a revelation unique to the guest also highly possible, but that would also require Dead Sea Scrolls. So that's really the thing. And for your card, you are looking at.
Are we what kind of time are we going from the 2 hour tonight? Are we going to try and push a little longer? And
well,
you got to get to getting.
I'm slowing down.
Okay.
But let's give it to the top of the hour.
Okay.
And also we got some super chats here.
That we do. All of a sudden the spice is
thank
flowing.
you, Timothy.
Thank you, Timothy.
And Johnny Rapine says bingo was his name. I would sing that, but then I would get some kind of strike on the channel or something.
Do it.
Something. And bingo was his name. Oh.
That's it. Channel's getting shut down.
Yeah. It's weird how many Christians adopt foreign religious concepts like reincarnation and karma. I agree.
Well, they're not really Christians, Olivia.
Well, so Olivia, what I would say is though that like there's no being consistent in one's worldview is not the strength of anyone.
No.
We are all inconsistent with our worldview in certain ways. I certainly see a lot of atheists out there who accept like karma or a lot of things that like just don't seem compatible with skepticism per se.
My personal is that there's just humanity needs a little we need a little mystery. We need something that we can go to be like it's luck, it's fate, it's karma, it's something to just be like it's the grease for the wheels of existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
We need something beyond the nuts and bolts of like, well, this is just the biochemistry of the brain and this is how we work because.
Well, I don't.
Oh, well, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of existence sucks and people need some.
Right, yeah.
You need it. It's like a pressure cooker, right? You got to have that steam valve on the top to just let it off. And it's the.
But even within a naturalistic framework, I could be like, well, wouldn't it, like. So, for example,
call
like
it chaos theory, call it whatever, right?
I'm fascinated by aliens and like trying to figure out can time travel work based on different theories of time. Like there's even in the naturalist thing, there's certain things where you have stretch goals, as it were. So, anyway, I don't
Johnny Irvine is
disagree.
asking me to please check his work. I'm sorry I missed it, Johnny. Bingo was his name. What is your what's your card number, Johnny? Did you throw it out there? If you did, I missed it. I apologize.
Yeah, Johnny Irvine, please check your work. Also,
what's your card number?
Dave, do you have your YouTube handle yet?
I mean, my YouTube handle is my name.
No, but has YouTube bothered you? Like, so for those of us who have channels,
no, YouTube does not bother me.
YouTube will be bothering you soon to pick out a handle. It's going to be like Twitter, where it doesn't matter if you have 0 videos or whatever. Like, everyone gets a handle.
Oh, okay.
So at some point you will get a handle, and then you can be actually properly tagged in the chat with a thing.
Okay. Well, I'll make a point of that.
Well, when you got to get in line, and it's based on popularity. So you might popularity on YouTube, not popularity in life. Otherwise, you'd be the king of that.
Heck yeah!
All right. So we got to the top of the hour. Let's see if we can get ourselves Dead Sea Scrolls in the next couple of minutes.
To my book, The Peacemaker and the Key of Life. It's called The Gardener and the Tree of Life. I hope to have it out soon. It describes that creation process. And again, yes, Enki and the other Anunnaki genetic scientists found that what they were here to do was to create the human body as a resurrection machine, as a flower of souls, or flower of souls, if you will. This is the gardening metaphor that keeps coming up over and over. They were gardeners, they're harvesting souls, all this sort of thing.
Right.
They imagine the human body as an actual flower or flower.
It goes back. I once interviewed, I have a good friend named John Lear. He doesn't do public interviews anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that he had definitive information, this goes back a lot of years now, that the human body is nothing more than a vessel to contain the soul.
It's an ark. It's a flower of the soul.
We're just playing with words.
You don't need to have like a weird guy. Like, basically, when I was a Christian, it was a very common Christian phrase to say, how does the phrase go? That we don't have a.
Well, jars of clay is the traditional, right? That we're.
What's the phrase that I'm looking for here?
I'm not sure what you're.
Well, we don't have a. We are souls that have bodies. We are not bodies that have souls, or like there's like that's just the common belief that this shell that we've got going here.
And I mean, that's certainly not a new idea. That's an idea that's thousands of years.
Exactly. Like, you didn't need to Art didn't need to flex with whatever author it was that he interviewed that doesn't do interviews anymore.
Yeah.
The prince of soul research.
Yes. Yeah. And it's literally an idea that predates Christianity.
Sure.
They get right where it's like like it's always been, you go back as far as you want. It's the idea that's like the ancient Egyptians had like this idea, the ka, that you had your essence that was
exactly right.
Drove, and like this is just your body is just your body. It's just a thing that the essence inhabits, and then you move all. Anyway,
sometimes I feel like Art gets bored, and then he's like, "Oh wait, reminds me of a thing I can tell a story about."
Good night, Darren. Best of luck to your daughter.
We're wrapping it up soon too.
Here, but the meaning is the same. It's just virtually a vessel.
What happened after that cataclysm on Tiamat that created the earth? The Essenes, the priesthood out of which Jesus preached, had sacred texts that described the earth as a pit. And as Sitchin points out in his lecture, at least he did in Zurich when I was with him there last month, he said, "Have you ever thought about what the earth looks like when you take all the water out of the oceans? It looks like a giant pit." And that's what it was. It's the pit of that planet, a piece of this fractured goddess planet. And these people viewed planets as giving them goddess-type metaphors or human body-type metaphors. Sitchin describes how Enki created the human body, and in my interpretation, I show how Enki implanted those feminine souls of Tiamat into the human body. What he discovered was that they wouldn't resurrect. In other words, those souls couldn't use the resurrection machine properly. So Enki had to bring forward to the earth another group of.
So he's getting the Enuma very wrong, and it's making me angry that we're doing a whole different mythology, because Enki created the earth out of Tiamat. also the one thing that Illumination Genesis 1 share in common is that the Earth started as being covered with water.
You know
That's
what?
one thing they had in common. So like don't bother asking what the Earth looks like without water, because they both.
Yeah, that's because if the Earth didn't have any water, which nobody in the ancient world would ever remotely consider, it kind of looks like a pit, I guess, because the sea is lower than the land and most of the world is sea. We'll just skip over that. So the word pit probably means there's literally no other possible conclusion you could draw from any of this. Therefore, I'm right.
So
yes, you were right, Ionic Man. This is fucking Evangelion. We'll just throw whatever crazy ass shit at the end, and it's all a dream the ghost of the Earth is having about recycling.
So there's 15 minutes of showtime left. We're not going to get to there. I feel like we're not going to get to Stargate.
Clearly, we're not going to get to Stargates. This was
because they're in the caller section of the program where the callers
pulled a goddamn bait and switch on us, Paul. We got bamboozled.
So we will never, unless we read his book, we could buy and order his book, I guess.
He has so many. He has so many books. I was looking into this guy.
The William Henry books.
I'm kind of I'm honestly might buy this book at some point, the one about his like whole Stargate thing, because I'm kind of just genuinely curious.
I'll put it on my Christmas list. I was trying to think of some books to add to that.
Yeah.
So you did not get your bingo. You were missing.
I didn't get my bingo. No.
I also was missing Dead Sea Scrolls. He talked about it in the first half of the show, but we didn't. That didn't count.
Yeah.
So we're both bingo.
We talked about Dead Sea Scrolls, and Harp came up in the first half of the show too.
Oh, that's right. Harp totally did, but for me, it wouldn't have helped. Harp didn't help you. I don't.
No, but somebody else was mentioning they needed Harp for a thing. Yeah. But
all right. Well, I want everyone in the chat and in the comments to let us know, what did you think of the addition of Bingo, the Art Bell Bingo, to the show? Did it make the show better or worse? Love to hear your thoughts. We also potentially, if we get Pants wasn't willing to pony up, but perhaps in the future some of our other sponsors might be able to pony up so that more people at a time can play.
Yep. So and there might, who knows, if you convince more of your friends to watch our stream, there might actually be prizes, like a legitimate real prize.
Legitimate real prizes. So in the future. Unfortunately, neither of us are going to earn Pants, so we have to turn off the stream before we stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the way YouTube monetization works, which is bullshit. I get it, but that's all right.
Everyone would be jealous. I get it.
Okay, so Dave, you and I have discussed our next show. What do you want to give a tease about what we're thinking for the next show?
So in honor of the season, we're thinking next week, or not next week, next show in 2 weeks. It wouldn't be on the day, it'd be on the Friday, but doing a Halloween central episode. So this one would be Ghost to Ghost AM. We would pick one of the traditional episodes that are more based on ghosts or something along those lines. So it wouldn't be investigating there wouldn't be any biblical slant to it. But because it's Halloween, we thought it might be fun to do an Art Bell episode that was purely ghost, poltergeist.
So Dave, if we do this, can we both commit to costumes of some sort?
Oh, maybe, Paul. Should we each do a costume and our guests have to vote on who is the best costume? Can we do some kind of poll?
Because just getting dressed needs to be a competition for me. That makes sense.
Because then all of a sudden we're motivated.
That's right. That's right.
I know how to make Paul do something is to make it a contest. Make there be an actual winners and losers. Yeah.
All right. Well, be prepared, people. You may actually see me in something other than a black T-shirt. We'll see how this goes.
All right.
All right, Dave. Well, this was super fun.
I promise I'd give a dad joke, a drunken dad joke for a sign off.
Okay, let's do it.
You ready? Hey, Paul, you're familiar, of course, with Albert Einstein.
Of course.
Famous theoretical physicist.
Yes, theory of relativity.
A lot of people know him. Not so many people know his brother Frank. He was a real monster. Drunken dad joke.
Oh. Okay, I wanted to start talking about Rick and Morty, but we'll do that offline.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Spirits will be flowing on Ghost to Ghost. That's right.
Yes, they will.
That's right.
Hey, there we go. I like it. There's a good tagline there. You don't get paid for that, Rasputin. Sorry.
Paul, you got Dead Sea Scrolls. I was looking at that. If you mean Game of Thrones, whatever. I got Dead Sea Scrolls. If so, then Dave and I are both winners.
Yep.
So that was the magic where we both needed. All right. Well,
thank you. Wonderful evening. Thank you all.
Pants.
Thank you all so much for joining us. This is
later.
Truly enjoyed it, Paul. Have a great night. Good night, everybody.